law enforcement, political and community leaders in local and state jurisdictions throughout the country. Our primary goal is to make criminal and juvenile justice systems more efficient and cost-effective in order to promote accountability for achieving better outcomes. This webinar is the 5th in a 7-part series that will take place each second Wednesday of every month until September. We developed this webinar series in follow-up to the release of our stakeholder box set papers, which CJI created under a cooperative agreement with the National Institute of Corrections. The box set papers focus on the application of evidence-based principles for reducing recidivism. The papers are addressed to various criminal justice stakeholders and discuss how the implementation of evidence-based practices and a focus on reducing recidivism affect areas of expertise in community corrections, judiciary, prosecution, defense, pretrial services, jail, prison, and the provision of treatment. Each of the papers is available for free download on CJI's website. Our webinars have been thoughtfully designed to reach diverse audiences and stakeholder groups by incorporating their various perspectives, all aligned by the principles of EBP. Our vision for these unfunded webinars is to build a community of learning and network of practice among various criminal justice stakeholders as we work together to improve our communities. Today's agenda will cover the following areas. First, a brief featured presentation, followed by a panel discussion and interactive question and answer where the panelists will respond to audience questions. To begin this webinar, we have 2 quick polls for you, our audience. First, we want to take a moment and ask you whether you have had a chance to see and review the papers in our box set. The responses to the poll indicate that about half of you have not yet been able to see our box set papers, and we encourage you to check them out on our website, which will be up on the PowerPoint shortly. We'd also like to get a sense of whether you work primarily in a county, state, city, or federal jurisdiction. Please log your responses now. Poll shows that the majority of you are in state and county jurisdictions. We will ask the panelists to do their best to respond accordingly, also understanding that we have a variety of folks in our audience. We want to remind our audience that at any time throughout the webinar, you can submit questions for our panel directly via the question function on your screen. We will try and answer as many questions as time allows, and will make available the remaining responses via a frequently asked question sheet that can be accessed on CJI's website. The FAQ sheet, the PowerPoint with audio, complete panelist bios, and other resources will be available for download on our website free of charge. The website is up on the screen now. We hope you enjoy the webinar and look forward to hearing your comments and feedback on the brief evaluation following the completion of the event. We have used the feedback from previous webinars to make modifications to these events and be more responsive to audience requests. So we encourage you to take a moment to offer your feedback. Before we introduce today's featured presenter and panel members, we would like to recognize and thank the primary authors of the Prisons and Jails box set papers, Dr. Ralph Theron and Dr. Gary Christensen, respectively. We'd like to thank you both for your insight and expertise in this area of practice. We'd now like to introduce our featured presenter, Mr. Dan Craig, Warden of the Medical and Classification Center, Iowa Department of Corrections. Mr. Craig has been in the field for over 25 years. He began his career providing direct control and security of offenders and has held various leadership positions within community corrections and correctional institutions throughout Iowa. He is recognized as a national leader in evidence-based initiatives and has a reputation for implementing progressive, results-oriented practices. Mr. Craig helped lead a transformational initiative within the agency, which included implementing evidence-based practices and developing staff leadership abilities to create the capacity in the system to drive down recidivism and increase the safety of communities. Welcome, Dan. Next, we have Ms. Cindy Coy, Director of Correctional Services for Grant County, Indiana. Ms. McCoy holds a master's degree in management and has been in the field for over 30 years. She provides leadership to probation and community corrections and the implementation of evidence-based practices in Grant County. Ms. McCoy is certified in the administration of the Correctional Program Assessment Inventory 2000, otherwise known as the CPAI, and is a trainer of effective communication and motivational strategies. Welcome, Cindy.
Hello, everyone.
Next, we have Dr. Gary Christensen, President of Corrections Partners, Inc. Dr. Christensen has been in the field for over 30 years and holds a PhD in organizational psychology. He has initiated several innovative correctional programs, including the Dutchess County Jail Transition Program, which has been recognized nationally for significant recidivism reduction and contribution to the enhancement of general public safety. He has also developed the Applied Correctional Transition Strategy, a comprehensive software suite designed to enhance all aspects of daily jail transition, as well as provide policymakers with essential information to ensure that the allocation of resources actually leads to the most productive and cost-efficient outcomes. In addition, as previously mentioned, Dr. Christensen co-authored with CJI the box set paper addressing EBP in jail settings entitled Our System of Corrections, Do Jails Play a Role in Improving Offender Outcomes? This paper, along with all the box set papers, is again available for free download from CJI's website. Welcome, Gary.
Hello, everyone.
And finally, I'd like to introduce Mr. Max Williams, Director of the Oregon Department of Corrections. Max Williams became Director of the Oregon Department of Correction in January 2004 after a distinguished career in the Oregon Legislative Assembly and as a practicing attorney. In the legislature, he served as chairman for various committees and became very interested in corrections and larger public safety issues. Mr. Williams is a strong advocate of evidence-based programs in corrections. Since becoming DOC Director, Mr. Williams has helped launch a number of significant initiatives targeted at delivering programs and services that will reduce the reoffense rate among releasing offenders. Welcome, Max. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your time with us, and at this time, I'd like to hand over our webinar to Mr. Dan Craig, our featured presenter and moderator for our panel discussion.